On May 25th, we started a weight loss challenge. And my guess is, I'm going to start with Paul. My guess is that not only did you not lose weight, but you actually gained weight between May 25th and now. Am I correct?
I don't think it looks like you gained. I have not checked once to see whether I've gained or lost any weight whatsoever. Okay. But I'm very proud for you guys.
Okay. Jeff, because I'm going to win, so we'll get your number next.
I'm at like 36 pounds. 36, down 36.
That is very good in about 3.5 months.
That's not bad.
I, as of this morning, 45 pounds.
Jesus.
Incredible.
In 3 months. Thank you.
Incredible.
I'm still a fat ass, but that's okay. Got some more to go, but.
Well, I mean, it's relative,
so
right?
I win the weight loss challenge. Now we're going to get to a bet that I lost.
Yes.
About 6 years ago, Lorenzo Harrison came into the Maryland program from DeMatha. I bet Paul on the air that Lorenzo Harrison would break the all-time rushing record at the University of Maryland. I was wrong.
Just came up a few yards short.
Just a couple thousand yards short.
My thought process was this. 1, he could do it, and I could win the bet.
True.
Even though it was a very small % chance.
True.
2, Jeff could die. IMS could go away, and
also
I would never have to.
You could quit the show.
I could quit the show. That happened for a while.
Yeah. Inevitable.
And the third possibility is that I would lose, and the worst case scenario is I lose, is that I have to bring a bottle of Johnny Walker Black and give it to my friend Paul Douglas at a tailgate and drink it with him. So, here it is. Johnny Walker Black from my friend Paul Douglas. You win the bet.
Easiest.
Now we get to drink it. Are we going to drink it right now?
It only took 6 years to get like a $40 bottle of liquor.
Larry had it on He had it on layaway.
Yeah, right.
You're drinking it right now.
Oh, we're drinking.
Are we sharing the same bottle?
Send it over to Paul. I got to go to the press box. Send it over to Paul. Or Paul, to Larry.
I guess I'm going to do this.
I don't want to be the guy in the press box with Scotch breath.
I hope Scotch kills COVID.
Johnny Black. Yeah.
That could be awkward.
It doesn't get communicated that way. So
Good.
It could.
I don't know.
I don't think it does.
I'm not a damn epidemiologist.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know.
Everybody is now. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm not on Twitter right now, so clearly, that's not an issue.
Let's talk football.
Those 2 items. The next item is that we finished the weight loss challenge. I started another one today for myself. I want to lose 30 more pounds by December 11th. Why, you ask, would I pick December 11th as my next target date? Paul, why would I possibly want to pick December 11th as my next target date for the end of my next weight loss challenge? Why would that be?
If I know anything about you, that's probably when the Big Ten championship is it not?
No.
Is it your birthday?
No. Paul,
I don't know.
What's happening on December 11th? Jeff.
Oh shit, that's the other live show.
Yes.
Live show, Brooklyn.
We're doing another one.
Be there.
This has been so successful already, we're going to do another one.
We are doing a live show in New York City, in Manhattan, at the Abbey Tavern on the corner of 3rd and 26th, I believe, with the New York Terps, in conjunction with the New York Terps.
Should we tell them who the hopeful guest is, or do we keep that
I say we say who the hopeful guest is. I say we do it. I think he's coming.
We are hoping to have one Gary Williams join us.
Gary Williams will be our guest on December 11th in Manhattan at the Abbey Tavern on December 11th, one day before the Maryland Terrapins play Florida at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. So we're going to have a whole weekend up there with you guys. On the 11th on Saturday, come see us at Abbey Tavern. December 12th, go see the Terps play at the Barclays Center against Florida.
It will be lit, as us youngsters like to say.
Yes, as they say.
Litty.
Lit.
The last thing is the failure that was Big Survivor. We had a Big Survivor competition.
Yeah. Somebody decided to include week 0.
I included week 0. 90%.
Nebraska, Illinois.
90% of the people are out. The other 10% are still playing. We talked about creating a second competition. That did not happen. So you 10%, congratulations. One of you will win a 1-year premium subscription to Inside Maryland Sports. Sound is working good. That's your son?
That's my wife.
Oh, that's your wife, yeah.
So
okay, good. Sound is working good. Now, on to today's festivities. Maryland versus West Virginia.
Is there something happening today?
The opening of college football, in-person football for the first time in 2 years. So excited. Paul.
I've said this before, and I posted on the InsideMarylandSports.com message board last night. I feel like you don't really quite understand how much this matters until it's gone. I mean, last year we did get some games. It was nice. Despite the COVID cancellations of half the season, you did get 5 or 6 games. You got to see Maryland on TV. It's just not the same as being here live. It's not the same as being here, being able to tailgate, being able to hang out with your friends, and all these people that you just see every year, 6 or 7 times a year. They might not even be friends of yours, but the people that tailgate next to you, the people that are nearby. It's just kind of like the way that Mike Loxley likes to talk about the Terrapin family and this being like a family reunion. In a lot of ways, that's true. I see a lot of people just being here for the first time in 2 years. I haven't seen it in a long time, and it's pretty awesome.
It is awesome. Jeff, your first time here in 2 years as well, clearly because of COVID and all that. Happy to be back. You're coming next week as well, right?
Next week as well. Be here for Howard. Should be a close game, I think.
Which, by the way, is being billed as the world's largest go-go.
That's really cool.
Which I don't know what the hell that's going to turn out to be, but I am in.
Every Maryland alum from New Jersey is like, what the hell is go-go? Yeah, that'll be cool. I mean, Maryland will win 80-7, but you got to get those games in anyways.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you get a win today, and then you build it. Next week's kind of a, just a little tune-up and,
And a night game. I mean, Maryland hasn't had a lot of night games in the past few years. And we had the one game 2 years ago against Penn State, which was an excellent tailgate, and then the game started. But a night game against Howard, that leads up to some positive feelings.
3-1 or 4-0. You can't do any worse than that. You got to go at least 3-1.
You can do, but
you definitely can. But I think expectations wise,
you can't afford to.
You can't afford to not do 3-1.
But they do have a softer. It's funny to say a soft schedule when you're in the Big Ten East, but they do have every year recently they're always ranked in the top 3 or 5 toughest schedules in the country. This year they're not even showing up on this list, so I think that helps a little bit. At least.
Well, you got some weird results. You got Northwestern got pasted by Michigan State last night. I don't think anybody thought Michigan State would be any good this year. So, you never quite know exactly where those kind of middling bottom teams of the Big Ten are going to be.
That's bad for Maryland, by the way, because they play Michigan State and not Northwestern. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Whereas last year, going into that first game, everybody thought, okay, Northwestern, maybe they can be took this year.
Yeah.
That did not work out.
Right. And speaking of that, I have our predictions that we made game by game and season-long predictions. Today, for this game, back in May, I said 50-50 for today. Paul, you said 45% chance of a victory. No, sorry, you said 50-50. Jeff said 45%. And overall, counting the analytics sites, they give Maryland a 0.495% chance of winning today.
That's what everybody keeps asking me. I say it's a 50-50 game, so that sums it up right there. This, feels like one of those games that's just bound to come down to the final 8 minutes of, the fourth quarter. They're very evenly matched. Obviously, first game of the season, it could end up being a 35-7 game, but it feels like the classic 50-50 game.
See, that's what I'm not sure about, because when you have that first game of the season, almost always you got one team that's better than you thought and one team that's worse than you thought. That doesn't mean they're going to have the better season, but it's just one team ends up being more prepared than the other. One team ends up being ready to go. The other one doesn't. I kind of feel like this won't be a close game. I just don't know whether it's going to be a Maryland win or a West Virginia win.
I think people are really sleeping on Maryland's defense. Everybody talks about Leah and the receivers, but I feel like Maryland's defense is better than its offense, so that's something to watch today. I think that,
You want to talk about Camp Whispers?
There he is.
Let's get him on while we're here, man.
Is he already here?
We're going to do it?
Citizen Cope is here, everybody. We're going to bring him up. How's it going? I'm Larry. Hey, nice to meet you. That's going to be your mic right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody, welcome to the show, Citizen Cope.
What's up, y'all?
So first off, why don't you tell us about how you're associated with Maryland?
Grew up in D.C. and I was born down south, but I was raised here, and I used to come out here when I was younger to Cole Fieldhouse and to Bird Stadium to buy and sell tickets. I used to be a ticket scalper when I was young.
Okay. And you're friends with Loxley, though?
Yeah, I grew up with a close friend who I went to high school with his best friend. We went to the same high school, we were in the same Spanish class, and ended up I used to sneak into Redskins games when I was young. So
nice.
I ended up.
That's a
seeing
rite
it.
of passage.
How did you
right
do
there.
that, by the way?
I used to wait for the opposing team to come in and follow the players in the early.
You were one of the ball boys or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tall enough though. He can look like a player.
Well, I was
right?
no, I didn't look like a player. I actually was really small back in high school, so I kind of played as like I was just one of the kids or
Yeah.
ball boy.
So now, when you were, this is at Wilson, right, in
Yeah.
DC?
Yeah.
So now this is like the what, mid '80s, late '80s?
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine you and Mike Loxley in like matching Adidas jumpsuits heading off to the go-go. Is that what this is like?
There were many girls.
Oh yeah, is that what this is like?
There was me and Loxley both liked the color green. We used to like making money.
Now you like
Yeah.
the color red, I hope.
Yeah, we like the color red.
Oh, he's
That's
all
right.
over. He follows the recruiting hardcore.
All of it.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. I've
He's on board.
actually. It's funny. I had an interview years ago, and this is a good Maryland story. And I was out there in middle of nowhere, and somebody's like, "Well, what are your hobbies?" And I realized I really didn't have any hobbies. I was just so into just like writing songs and touring and making records that I kind of had. I like a good meal and I like good companionship and all these other things, but I didn't. I used to be a big sports fan when I was younger. When the Redskins left, I stopped watching them. And I was watching a high school game, and it turned out to be Stephon Diggs was playing in high school against this big school on ESPN.
Against
And-
DeMatha, that's my.
No, he was playing
Right.
against a team from Ohio. It was
Okay.
a nationally televised game when he was in high school. And I saw him pick off this pass and take it all the way back. And I started Googling him. And it's just funny because after watching his tape, I got turned on to Tavon Austin's tape. So I was watching Tavon Austin.
We don't like
he
him
was,
today.
he was ridiculous. His tape is.
I know,
his
but
high school.
we don't like him today, right?
You know, in high school he was fine. He talked about how awesome he was
His
in high
highlight
school.
videos, top 10 all time.
I actually had to I was following West Virginia those years when West Virginia was, and ESPN called me about the Texas game, and I said, y'all are going to lose really badly. And they all got mad at me, all texting me. Nobody puts 50 up against Texas defense in Austin. I was like, not today. They're going to, but so I became a fan of looking at young guys and their tapes and recruiting and all that kind of stuff. It just turned me on. Like
And
as
then
far
you
as like
found your way to the best Maryland site in the history of the internet.
exactly.
The only Maryland site in the history of the internet.
I had to get the down low on because I can't get any secrets from my friends, so I got to get them from you.
I hooked it up.
Locke's keeping it tight with his boys, man.
Yeah, he
that's
doesn't-
wrong. That's wrong.
He doesn't talk, man.
Gangsters move in silence, right?
Exactly.
Is that the line?
He does not
Gangsters
talk.
move in silence like
So, like-
lasagna.
Exactly.
So like you were talking about that, like the motif is that like every musician wants to be a famous athlete, and every famous athlete wants to be a famous musician.
Yeah.
Are you like that too? Is that like,
Well,
did you have like
when I
dreams
was
like
young,
you
when I
wanted to
was
be an
young,
athlete?
yeah, I was definitely going to be a professional athlete.
Well, we all were, right?
Yeah.
And you see where we are today.
I was going to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
I think that made the most sense. You didn't have to go to work
Oh
essentially.
yeah.
And
It's really hard,
yeah,
right? You just
yeah.
like go out and play a game.
Yeah,
all
it's
day.
a game. So I think that's one of the things. And then I quickly realized that wouldn't be the fact. So I was like, well, let me figure out how to get in stadiums without playing.
That's a different way.
And you've done it.
Yeah.
You've definitely done it, man.
What's your prediction for today? You knew West Virginia's going to put up 50 on Texas. What's Maryland going to do to West Virginia today?
This offensive team looks really good, looks potentially very dangerous. I think there's some real amazing players in the scheme that the coaches have put together. I think, essentially they got 3 or 4 pros already at wide receiver. So I think that it really depends on how much everyone wants to win, but I think definitely today's going to be a great test. But I think Maryland's going to win it.
All right, I was worried you were going political there for a second. Yeah. You weren't going to give your actual answer, but you called Maryland.
Maryland's
There we
going
go.
to win it.
Respect.
My question is just, by how much? Like,
There you go.
That's my guy.
That's a good question to have.
Is this a blowout, or is this trying to get the team together post-COVID and just figuring out some good scores? And obviously they've got to. West Virginia always puts some points on the board, but I think this is going to be real difficult to play all that talent. To be able to defend all that talent.
And we were talking the other day, you said you feel like Maryland would be much farther along right now had they given Locks the job the first time around.
Absolutely.
Instead of, would have been DJ Durkin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they would have given him the job at that point, you would have had a lot of major recruits already here, so he had to kind of start again.
Dwayne Haskins, for example.
He would have got Dwayne, he probably would have got Chase Young, he probably would have got a lot of the people that ended up going to Alabama. So
True.
And kind of ended up opening up Alabama as a viable, and the Southeast Conference is a DMV kind of like place where those guys are going to be looking a lot more in the future. So I think, right now, it kept him a couple years back, but things happen for a reason. It was a great thing that he went under and learned under Coach Saban, and was able to, Coach Saban really had a lot of love for him, and like really realized what his attributes were with it as a coaching offensive mind. And I think that's one thing we haven't really got the chance to see yet.
Yeah.
So I think this is really exciting. That's why I flew all the way around the country to see it.
Well, I was gonna say it's good to see, and I have to ask, being a musician, you sold 1 million records, you played in front of lots of big crowds. Like, what was COVID like for someone like you? I mean, you're so used to being out there and playing for the people, and then you're off the road for 18 months, right? So do you just go into the laboratory,
Like Guitar Hero at home?
and start writing, or is it like are you just trying to get ready for the next step?
I'll be honest, I was on the road for so long that it was truly a blessing.
Yeah.
Financially, it was obviously a hurt, because it was like everybody.
You count on that, right?
Like everybody says it was supposed to be my best year. I think it was one of those kind of like moments for everybody that everybody kind of like worked for the last 6 years to have a really good year. Like I talked to a lot of people, it's supposed to be a great year. And I think, but it was like what I gained spiritually from it was so much more than being out on the road or financial kind of like thing. I think put a lot of into perspective, because I was on the road. You get on the road and you're in a bubble and it doesn't stop. So I think it was really changed my perspective on that outlook of performance.
How many views do you have on YouTube?
I have no idea.
Many. Hundreds of millions.
He doesn't seem like a guy who's
Hundreds of
He
millions.
doesn't,
No
give a
idea.
shit, right?
Early on,
Somebody tells him.
Early on, there was a lot of stuff. When I saw, I was like, oh shit! And then they would take some of those videos get taken down, so you never know how much.
Yeah.
What that is.
What's your YouTube channel, by the way? So if anybody wants,
Citizen Cope.
it's just Citizen Cope. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Spotify, Citizen Cope. If you don't know Citizen Cope, you should start with the Clarence Greenwood recordings. It'll make your life better.
Okay.
And then
Great
if
music.
you like that, then you go on and check out the other stuff.
And let me attest to that. I've been a longtime fan. I went to you had the 10th anniversary tour of the Clarence Greenwood recordings in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It was at the Rams Head Live. It was a packed show. It was like 5-6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
It was just you and a guitar.
Oh, okay.
And like
Speaking of
that's and it's the beauty of it. When you can play a club that big with just you and a guitar,
Yeah.
you're doing all right.
Yep.
You know?
I got my guitar in the car. You
I
want me to set it up? It'll take me like 2 minutes to plug it
I
in.
think we got too much feedback for that.
Right there's a microphone. I got my guitar.
You can't make the band play without his equipment, man.
Yeah,
that's dirty.
Yeah.
That's dirty. But I was gonna say, now I forgot, because that's live radio.
The
Five
10-year
questions
anniversary. You were attesting to the 10-year anniversary record that you really liked.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got 5 questions?
Look, I've had.
Cope, Larry?
I have Shawne Merriman's 5 questions.
Yeah, let's ask Shawne Merriman's
You want
5
to ask
questions.
Shawne Merriman was supposed to be here and he couldn't make it.
Okay.
Do you want to answer his questions that we have for him?
Yeah, you can tell us about your time with the San Diego Chargers.
Fill in the blank. Your favorite non-football memory from your time at Maryland is?
Your time hanging around the general vicinity.
No, well, you got to give us a good lock story. like Locks from high school, like old school Locks. Like when you guys, because you coming up in the mid '80s, you were in a crazy music time in DC, right?
Yeah.
You had the Trouble Funk and RE and all, the whole go-go thing starting up with Chuck, and then you had like the Ian MacKaye and you know Fugazi and all that DC punk. Like, were you guys really into that stuff, or like was it kind of its own thing, right?
Go-go was its own thing. The punk rock thing was its own thing. But they had connections, and people would kind of check out the other, you know, with the Bad Brains.
Because you had Bad Brains, you had those punk funk shows, right, where they do both at the same time.
You would have that going on because there wasn't anything to play before punk rock shows, and sometimes they would play reggae or go-go music or something like that in this area. And then with I guess one of the cool stories was in the parking lot at Capitol Center playing some of my demos for Mike, and he was like, "This isn't you, this isn't you." And then another time we were playing 2-on-2 basketball outside RFK Stadium. It's just a public court, and Locks had just finished one of his junior year at Towson, and we were out there playing, and he actually played, I think, basketball his senior year. So he was playing every day, and there was another kid that was kind of like, he played at Spin Garden and played junior college, and it was 2-on-2 against me and this other kid and Locks and his friend, and we lost, but we actually had a good chance, but Locks had been playing every day, so I told the other guys, like, "Nah, he's been playing every day, man." And he's like, "No, man, we're gonna beat him." And
that's why he's a good recruiter, right?
Yeah,
there.
he's a football guy.
That attitude right there is why.
So he's a football guy. He can't play.
Well, we're very excited that you were able to come out and join us today, and thank you for giving us 15 minutes of your time.
Yeah, I would love to have the Shawne Merriman stories and be able to tell his stories. But
I was hoping to hear about your years with the San Diego Chargers.
I would probably make them what my stories would have been if I were a professional football player. And
I bet you got some stories.
I got some stories.
You got a new album, right? Coming out?
I have an acoustic album. I'm working on another one. We got something at the Anthem in January. We haven't announced yet. We're going to do a tour in January, February, April, May. We're going to do some stuff. 2 shows in Red Rocks, Colorado.
That's awesome.
18,000 people. It's going to be great.
Can you talk a little bit about Heroin and Helicopters? Now, that's not necessarily new, but
it's 2 years ago.
People, right?
Yeah, I got the name. Carlos Santana came to a show, and he's like, "Whatever you do, stay away from the 2 H's." And I said, "What are the 2 H's?" And he said, "Heroin and helicopters." He said, "Don't use heroin, don't fly a helicopter." So
that's some good life advice right there.
Backstory.
And years later, I was thinking about a title, and going and doing so many shows where people would come up with substance problems or their family or friends had OD'd, and so I had a lot of, this thing kept on coming up and being a bigger kind of issue with people that came to shows, and so. Highly affected by the, so I was like, this really kind of makes sense. It's somewhat of a prophetic, poignant statement that he made, and it kind of put the name of the album about that, because not just addictions to our substances, but our addictions to our cell phones and social media, addictions to conflict. It's so easy to have conflict today, and I think it was just about kind of like being aware of the fact that we can easily operate on a low energy level, on a low energy vibration, and kind of get caught in arguments over politics, culture, all these different things that we're kind of been forced to, for thousands of years, argue over.
How you feel about Mark Turgeon? That's Jeff's world.
Wait, today is a celebration, Paul.
I'm sorry.
Today is a celebration.
I know.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
Maryland sports.
Celebrate.
Everybody, welcome back today. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just about operating on a higher energy level and not letting some of the things that we're kind of forced into, because we all have different opinions, and that's what makes it beautiful. And then we can learn from people a lot of times that think differently from us. And and the helicopter part is like being in a rush to get somewhere we're not. And I think we've lost sight of the journey, and instead of not realizing that we're at our destination. So that was kind of what what that title was about, you know. So I wanted to explain it because I didn't want people to think, you know, go fly some, go fly some
do
heroin.
some smack in a
Yeah,
helicopter.
go fly a helicopter on some heroin.
Right.
We're talking about your hobby.
You know, like I was not promoting
Yeah.
that.
Now we know why you're such a good songwriter with what you just said. That was very well said.
That was really.
Hey, before you go, we ask everybody who comes on the show to do one thing for us. Could you say, this is Citizen Cope, and you're listening to IMS Radio?
This is Citizen Cope, and you're listening to IMS Radio.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. From Citizen Cope, check them out on Spotify, YouTube, where else? iTunes,
Apple,
everywhere, right?
everywhere, yeah,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Citizen Cope, outspoken
The best
toaster.
place is citizencope.com. Get on the email list. You'll find out about shows and records and all that kind of stuff.
That's great, thank you. And we did see that our buddy Chris Knoche just came, so he'll be up in 1 minute.
Damn it.
Give us 1 minute to make a transition. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Thank you, nice to meet you.
Thank you. We can photo real quick. Yeah, sure. I appreciate you. Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, brother.
All right, be safe, man.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Good times, all right?
Congratulations on the show.
We'll see you at the next show you're around here. When do you come back here? No?
The Hampton, DC, January.
Chris, you ready? Where did he go? Oh, there he is. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show, Chris Knoche. There he is, color analyst for the Maryland Terrapins Radio Network. One of the most favorite guests in the history of IMS
Man,
Radio.
One of. What do you mean one of?
We were hoping if anybody was going to cancel, it was Knoche, but he showed up. So
Come on, you owe me.
This
Knoche
is
always comes through.
see, you're breaking
This
the damn
is
technology. That's
Knoche's 57th guest appearance on IMS Radio.
That's false.
Just kidding.
False.
He's definitely the leader in the clubhouse.
34th.
Yeah.
Hey, for real though, if we're gonna do this, we can't not talk about our last time with Knoche. It was the greatest
1
interview.
second. Right on the mic, please, everybody. Right up on the mic.
It was the greatest interview in the history of the Zoom interview. Like,
Talking about the Uber Eats episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
this guy's a goddamn professional. We're interviewing him live on the radio. We're streaming it out. He's on his cell phone. The door rings. He goes to get like his damn DoorDash order while he's still dropping some knowledge
Didn't miss a
about
beat.
like
Did
the
not miss a beat.
Maryland basketball
I
team.
was hungry.
Dude, no, I'm giving you the first compliment I've ever given you in my life.
That's true. That's
Like
true.
this was amazing.
You were due. You were due.
I
No question.
absolutely do. After all these years,
That's
I
what-
bow to your
It's what I do for my boys.
That's
That's what I do for my
Right.
boys.
Well played, sir.
There you go.
Chris, expectations for the upcoming season pretty good, right?
Damn right.
Yeah.
Football or
Right.
basketball?
Basketball.
Okay.
We're talking about hoops
Basketball.
Now, right? Okay, nice
Yeah.
transition. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, the issue becomes you got a lot of new players, a lot of new bodies, but I think that's what a lot of Division I basketball has. You've seen a lot of turnover, a lot of transfer portal activity, and so that kind of change is not specific or unique to Maryland at all. I mean, you look around the country, and I know these guys are talking about, the fact they've got 8 or 9 new faces, which they do. But man, you look around, for the most part, a lot of teams reloaded and retooled by doing exactly what Maryland did, going out and getting guys out of the portal, and in some cases getting lucky, but in most cases, you work your ass off to get these guys. It's not the portal's not just crook your finger and guys come. You still have to recruit.
We just we happened to see Turge coming in, and we talked to him for a few minutes, and he was very high on his team for this year. I feel like it might be his deepest roster.
Well, I haven't seen him play, but I've had a couple of high school coaches, local high school coaches, who've been over here to practices, and they rave about the athleticism, the quickness. A couple of the freshmen as well, and you got to be a little reluctant to. You don't want to praise too many guys too early. Freshmen sort of have to earn their stripes, and it's one thing to be good in a September practice or in a summer practice, and it's another thing entirely to be good, when there's really live ammo flying around. But you've got a lot of guys, you've got a lot of depth, and I'm excited, man. I mean, it's one of the cool things about the sport. One of the hardest parts about the sport is that guys go. Sometimes when you least expect it. I would not have guessed that Aaron Wiggins would go, but he did. And yet, one of the cool parts about it is that these programs regenerate themselves, and you get a whole new group of guys to learn and root for, and to become friends with. And I'm looking forward to that part of it.
Well, now, Chris, you've been a head coach, so like, can you imagine the world that Mark Turgeon's living in right now, where you've got high school recruiting, you've got guys leaving early at a bigger clip they ever have, and then you've got the transfer portal, which is basically college free agency. So, like, how on earth do you build a roster under those conditions?
Well, I mean, the whole world has changed. Just in the time that he has been here as the head coach, the last 10 years, you think about what is the first question do you think when you're recruiting 4- and 5-star guys? What do you think the first question is when they come in the door? You think it's about the facility? Do you think it's about the shoe contract?
How much am I going to play?
It's how much am I going to make?
Yeah.
NIL, yeah.
NIL has changed everything.
Yeah, that's the other factor.
It's a conversation you have with every recruit, and so the rules have changed in terms of how you recruit guys, how you keep guys. The transfer portal has made a dramatic difference as well. I think the paradigm has changed in recruiting. You're certainly going to keep going after 4- and 5-star guys, but I think you spend as much time. And that's why they need to do away with the handshake line after games, because that's a recruiting.
It's not a cliche, or do people really?
No,
really
absolutely. Hey, here's my card. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So I just think the rules have changed dramatically in a very short period of time, and the guys who don't adjust to it are going to get left behind. But you have to be able to play in the NIL world, and it's hard to compete with a school in Lawrence, Kansas, or in Waco, Texas, or a small town where you got a guy who owns 4 different car dealerships and he's more than willing to write the check. The guys around here, it's harder to find that.
Well, that's the irony.
BYU is giving. There's a BYU booster who's giving all the walk-ons scholarships at BYU. So
well, and that's the irony, right? You think, I mean, in your brain, you think, okay, the big media markets are where you want to be. But maybe they're not.
Well, they're
in
not.
This particular case, right?
In this particular case, this is a pro sports town.
Yep.
And I just don't know that there's a level of interest like there would be in Syracuse or,
Penn State, Nebraska.
Yeah,
it's going to be the small
Chapel
college towns that are really the base where you find that car dealership guy or that,
I was thinking on the way here, Morgantown would be one of those places where I think you'd have all sorts of opportunities. Because you're pretty far removed from sports franchises, pro sports franchises in Pittsburgh and DC, and so I would think that they would really benefit schools like that.
You're not just the only show in town; you're the only show in the state.
Yeah.
When you're
that's always been the thing with Maryland, where people don't understand. In lots of other states, their big state school is their professional franchise. Like if you live in West Virginia, it doesn't matter whether anybody in your family went to West Virginia. If you grew up there, you're a West Virginia fan.
It's religion.
Right.
It's not religion here.
In the way that you would be with a pro franchise. You grew up in Timonium, you're going to be a Ravens fan.
See, that's also why you guys had a lot of fun, Jeff, you guys on the boards, roasting, and appropriately so, Scott Frost. Because that is a regional sports franchise.
Yes.
And when I was growing up, it was, I went to school at Colorado for a couple of years. It was easy to hate Nebraska. It still is.
Oh, it's very easy.
And I always wonder if they're going to ever be able to regenerate what they once had. They used to recruit out of Texas and California. Now they've got a little different situation in the Big Ten than they've ever had. So the rules have changed there too. I wonder how the NIL might impact them in a positive way at some point in time, but it clearly hasn't to this point.
I always tell people this story. Nebraska 2 or 3 years ago had a recruit function at their stadium where the recruits were just working out on the field and throwing around. Maybe 50,000 people showed up. So that just tells you, you're talking about 2 different worlds between some schools and others.
I mean, that's probably the combined spring game attendance for Maryland in the past 20 years.
Well, I was just going to say the Nebraska spring game, I think it's 75 or 80.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a religion out there for sure.
It's definitely a different world.
So did Turge come on with you guys?
No, he
said
had
no.
to.
But he swung by and he talked and
very forthcoming about his team and.
We
heard a lot about the team.
What people don't realize is Turge is one of the most likable people on earth. So you might bash him on the internet, and then you talk to him in person, and it's, even if you're a critic, he's
a tough guy not to like in person.
Solid guy.
And he's he's done a solid for, he's a big part of my daughter's growth and development professionally, and it's impossible for me to be objective, and I'm not going to divorce he's meant the world to her, which means the world to me. So when you
she's
guys,
fantastic,
I will not go down the Turgeon road with you guys.
We weren't going to leave.
No, we're not doing that
We're
today.
not doing that today.
We're not doing that today.
We are speaking with Chris Knoche, color analyst for the Maryland Terrapins Radio Network. Chris, I made a statement last week. I want to see if you want to back me up on that. Despite losing Morcell and Wiggins, this year's Big Four is better than last year's Big Four.
Wow.
You replaced Morcell and Wiggins with Russell and Wahab.
That's tough.
For no other reason than that they're spread out better positionally.
Yeah, there's a
That's
big,
right. Instead of four wing players, you got.
Well, it's a much more traditional team, right?
Yeah.
You got a point guard who's a point guard, and you got a 5 who's a 5. So
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I think that one of the things that's sort of lost on, and you won't know it until you see it. The chemistry that was developed with these guys this year, particularly on the defensive end, was a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah.
And they were all interchangeable pieces, and it's why they were able to have the success that they had. So if this team is able to do something like that, where you have that kind of synergy together, then I think you're probably right. But until I see that part of it, I'd probably be hard pressed to go down that path with you.
And it's
Fair
probably
enough.
That's enough.
I was going to say,
Fair
it's
enough.
probably easier on the defensive end, right, to gel like that, especially when you've got a situation where you've got guys who kind of are interchangeable parts as opposed to your 5s, your 4s, your 3s,
And also defense is a lot more about, athleticism, intangibles, the ability, the desire to do it, those kinds of things. And all these guys, to a man, one of the things that I really respect, and I'll leave this here about Turge, is that guys play for him. I never walk out of a game thinking, man, we didn't really work at it. We didn't play at it. And I have, conversely, I've been a part of games that Maryland has played where I thought, man, those guys didn't show at all. And so, I think that speaks to a lot of the defense as well. He teaches it well. He gets a lot of effort out of the guys. But you're right. It is much easier to find that, and that's why teams are usually more advanced early in the season on the defensive end. It's just easier to find a rhythm defensively.
which makes an uglier game, but it's just the way that it is, right, early on.
Yeah, and I wonder too, as everything off the court has evolved, I wonder if there are going to be changes on the court, in terms of, I hate to even suggest things because it's such a great game as it is, I hate when they tinker too much with the rules. 3-point line goes back, it seems like there's a certain ebb and flow to the rules. There's the shot clock, is there a reduction in the shot clock, which may make for an uglier game? My friend Gary Williams, Gary always tells me if they did away with the 3-point line, this would be the best game in the world. He swears the 3-point line is. Now
We love Gary, but that's an old man. That's an old man.
He's
thing.
70. I was just gonna say 76 years old. So that's kind of what you'd expect. But
That's a deep take.
Yeah, no, but I've heard that from other guys, and so and I do expect there to be a continual evolution in the rules. But my phone never rings when they're doing those things.
The reason for his take is correct, though. There's these games you watch, but it's just a 3-point shooting contest. It's just out both ends, just 3 after 3 after 3. So
Well, his whole thing too is that it took away. You think about back to the glory years here. That down screen for the Juan Dixon elbow jump shot off a flex, off a flex cut or fake flex cut. You don't see those anymore. Right. Nobody shoots a 15-footer anymore. Nobody runs plays for.
It's just high ball screens and pick and rolls.
Analytics say not to do it, and they don't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of it is like looking for the differentiation between the NBA game, now the G League game, which is becoming a competitor really to college basketball, and what college basketball is going to be, where you're only basically renting your best players for a year or 2 or more.
Yeah.
So you want to try and find ways that if you care about the game, you got to find ways to kind of make it different.
Well, here's the other thing: is that kids, 17, 18-year-old guys, they don't want to play where you're running a down screen for a 15-footer. They want to play where they watch the NBA all day long, all night long. So they see guys, 3-and-D guys, who will run to a corner. They'll see guys off a pick and roll, guys get to the rim, and there's very little in between. So the thinking is as in a kind of a group think way. That's the way the game's supposed to be played.
So what's your prediction? Let's switch it up to football. How closely are you following these guys? I'm sure you're on the site reading all of our stuff daily, but what do we got today? What's the result?
So this is a huge weekend, right? College football back with fans. I don't know if you've seen some of the. I'm not a Virginia Tech guy, although I did pay them a lot of tuition once for one of my kids. But I loved the energy in that building last night. Was that
amazing?
It was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah. So
jealous.
But this is such a great weekend for even Minnesota the other night in the rain. That was a phenomenal crowd. And they had their chances until Ibrahim went out.
I was very excited to see the Ohio State refs come through that night. It was good stuff.
Well, that also
And they
speaks
did.
to.
Which just means everything's back to normal, right?
Well, I mean, this whole notion too. We all saw the press release about forfeiting a game if you're not able to play due to COVID. That's such bullshit. I mean, it's one of those things where that's a rule until it happens to Ohio State or Michigan.
Well, it's just going to encourage every school just
Like
not
last
say it.
year with Ohio State.
Yeah,
and
You know Ohio State,
We're just playing.
They're just playing.
Yeah.
Cash rules.
Chris, when you come on, we always do
Let's go.
some sort of game at the end, fill in the blank. I got over/under for you this time. We're going to do 5 of them rapid fire. You give your answer and you can expound if you like. First one, players on this year's roster who will play at least one game in the NBA, over/under 2.5.
Wow.
He's good. He's good at that. He gets the ones that stress you out.
NBA.
At least one game.
You're not talking about professional
NBA.
basketball.
NBA.
The world of
Not
NBA.
summer league.
I'm
not
going
G League.
to say under.
Under.
But I do think that you would have a half a dozen guys who would play professional basketball in some capacity.
Okay.
And there is a difference,
There's
obviously,
not a lot of NBA measurable guys in this group.
Julia Reese.
fair.
Julia Reese might be the top.
Well, that's going to be the difference.
Kudus Wahab certainly could. Eric Ayala's borderline right. There's a bunch of borderline right. So, okay. Number 2, players averaging double-digit points per game this year, over/under 3.5.
I'll go over. I'll go over because I don't think that there's going to be a guy as a leading scorer who's going to score more than 15 maybe. And so if that's the case, I think you're going to get a lot of the balance you got last year.
Spread it out.
All right. Wins for this year's team, counting postseason tournaments, over/under 25.
Over.
Way over. Yeah, that was easy.
And I think it's partially because of the way the schedule sets up for them, out of conference schedule in addition to the regular season. And I think you've got enough bodies so that you'll be around in the conversation late in the year.
The highest ranking Maryland will achieve at any point during the upcoming season, over/under 10.
I'm going to say, if I say under 10, it means they're 1 through 9? Or
However you want to answer it.
okay.
Will they be in the
I
top
know
10?
that's like, yeah.
I think at some point in time they will be, and they will find themselves in the top 10. For how long, that's another issue entirely, because it's such a fluid situation.
Okay, the number of pieces of Lido pizza you're going to eat at this tailgate. Free Lido pizza for everybody right here. Over/under 5, Chris Knoche.
Wait. How about this?
Okay.
Over under 30 minutes. How long has it been there?
Right,
Very much over.
Not that much over.
Then go with the under for me.
By the way, there is free Lido pizza for
Come get
everybody.
it. Come
Come take your free Lido pizza.
Grab an entire pizza.
Now,
and take
while
it.
we're here, your boys are going to be doing a live show in New York City the day before the Florida game.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We are.
At the Abbey Tavern, which is the New York Terps. Where's my man Vinny?
With potentially,
There he is.
With
Come up here, Vinny.
Potentially,
he runs the New
one
York
Gary Williams is going to be there.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So if we can get Gary there,
where is that?
that's at the Abbey Tavern in Manhattan.
In Manhattan.
The day before, not game day. I know game day you're busy.
Everybody, there's the camera right there. This is Vinny Patel. He runs the New York Terrapin Club.
But if you're going to be there,
buddy.
Chris, I met you a few years back.
Good to see you,
At
man.
least to meet you.
So will we see you in New York or what? Oh yeah, he'll be
You're gonna
working.
be there.
He'll be working.
and we're getting
will be
Gary,
there.
the night
we
before
got to
the
get
game.
you, right?
It's the night before the
Night
game.
before.
Right before.
I'm not doing anything, but I can get out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
That sounds like a yes to me.
We did.
I'm using that. That's good. I like
You gotta
that.
show up.
Yeah, I'll be there.
We did the day before because the event on the Sunday is all day,
It is
and
a-
it's hard to get back and forth between Manhattan
Are
and
you
Brooklyn.
doing it in the day before or the night before?
The night before.
Five, 5 to 7 at the Abbey Tavern is at 3rd and 26.
Okay.
3rd and 26 in Manhattan. Vinny runs the New York Terps. Tell him about the New York Terps, Vinny.
So hey guys, so New York Terps, I kind of got involved like about when I moved to New York. I didn't know what was like. Look, where's the Terps? So I just Googled Maryland Bar, and just ever since, never looked back, and just started running. Became a president. I'm kind of stepping down and helping the rest of the folks to logistically and then set up. But I'm always going to be connected to New York Terps, and I can't thank Larry coming out every damn game watch. So I was appreciative.
I'll tell you what's great.
Support.
You know what's great about it too is the Abbey Tavern is actually closer than the football field is from here.
Oh, that's Paul. That's all Paul. This place would be packed right now if we were.
One more thing. How can people get in touch with you and join the New York Terps if they want to join the New York
Walt
Terps?
Williams sighting here.
All right, we got it. All right, Knoche, you're out. We got a better guest.
Quickly tell everybody.
I have no problem with that.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, so you guys can connect with New York Terps. They're TerpsNY at Gmail, or just Google New York Terps, and you'll find us everywhere on social media.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate the shout out. Hopefully you got it. Keep them sweet.
Well, I mean, well, we got the extra somewhere. I think there was another one.
December. What's up, man? I'm never in town, man.
Everything is good, man. So I made it, man. What's up, man?
We knew you were going. Shawne let us tell Merriman let us do. We didn't even know about
What's that?
How about that, everybody? Our first big surprise of the day, Mr. Walt Williams,
Oh, wait a minute.
our tallest guest ever. There he is.
He didn't know it was us, otherwise he wouldn't have shown up. We got the wizard, baby. Walt Williams is here.
Wait, you didn't know this was? I've been the one texting you for the last 3 days. You did not know? What are you talking
I get
about?
so many requests, you can't keep up.
You know how many stalkers he's got, man. He got all.
Say I'm one of the beat guys, man. You have
Hold
to
the
say
beat.
that
Hang
to
on.
me, man.
Hang on.
I know he's got the clip.
Hang on. Let's hear this here. One time when Walt was on our show, this happened a lot.
It was unbelievable, man.
This man pulled out his flip phone trying to talk to us on the radio.
My face kept hitting that button, and I thought it was you guys. I was like, oh my goodness, what is wrong?
What's wrong with these people,
And
right?
we got your IMS radio bumper. It sounds like this.
This is Walt Williams, and you're listening to IMS Radio.
Oh, where's the beep?
Oh,
There
you
was a
had the
beep
beep in it.
There was a beep. I
You
messed it up.
edited it out, man.
That was maybe one of our best episodes ever.
Walt, my man, what's good? How's everything?
Phone
Everything's
touches.
good, man.
So now you've been doing the broadcast for how many years?
Oh man,
Is
don't
this
start me lying. I have no
What,
idea.
year 5 or something?
Oh, it's longer than
Going
that.
in?
I'm saying maybe 7,
7
8,
years?
closer to 10. Yeah, it's getting there.
Are they tired? Johnny tired of you yet? Johnny trying to send you down the river yet?
I hope not. You know, I hope not. We have a great time with it. It's so much fun learning from those guys. You know, Knoche, Johnny Holiday, man. They embrace me with the quickness, man. So it's been a great time.
I gotta say, now we talked to Walt about probably 10 times over the years. I'm very disappointed at your sock level. I feel like your ankle socks are really disappointing for me.
So you know what? As a young man, the high socks were cool, but not at 50 years old.
Oh, come
It's
on.
not as cool, bro.
I know you could go on that court right now and take them homies for 20.
Yes, I can. Believe that. I
But
can
you
do
need
that.
the socks. They're like your superpower, like Samson's
Absolutely.
beard.
If we had to step out on the court, I got some high socks in the back trunk.
All right.
So
Dude,
I'm
I've
always
said this
prepared.
every time we've had Walt on. I wore the high socks because of him and Lawrence Bowden and all those guys for probably 5
This is my favorite guy
Yeah.
right here.
Oh,
I
great.
like this guy right here.
And this is the whitest man in the DMV right here, and he was still kicking them
I wouldn't
socks.
say that, but I rocked the high socks for years because of you guys.
Walt, you want a drink? You want a beer?
Absolutely. Why not?
There we go.
We're at the football game, right?
We're at the
Let's do
football
it.
tailgate.
Do it.
You do this before every one of the basketball games too, right? Drink a few.
Maybe at halftime or something.
Halftime?
You know, after one half with those guys, I need some downtime.
I have to tell a quick story. I was at the ACC tournament. The first year was in DC, and we were staying at the Radisson, which is where everybody in the media was staying. That first night, we lost that Clemson game. It was terrible. I went down to the bar, and I'm sitting at the bar by myself, being sad. And I see this large brother walk up next to me. It's Walt Williams, and he ordered. I think your wife might have been there. You ordered a couple drinks, and he went away. And then the bartender's pouring the drinks, and I'm like, dude, no, I'm paying for these. And then you came back, and I'm like, no, dude, I got you. Go Terps. And you're like, oh, cool, man, appreciate it. And went off. And then I'm like, dude, I just bought drinks for a multi-millionaire. What the hell? I'm poor as shit. Like, what am I doing?
What he's saying is pay up. Get your wallet.
What am I doing? No, he paid up. He paid up. He didn't know it. The next... No, I will take that. The next day, me and my buddy are walking down, like, F Street, and Walt's coming the other way, and I'm like, yo, Walt! And he daps me in front of my boy and keeps going. I'm like, payment receipt.
There you go. You guys are.
I look cool in front of my boys. We're good.
That's my guy
We're
right
good.
there. Believe
And you
it.
never knew that years later I'd be annoying your ass on a radio show.
This is why everybody loves Walt, because every single
The
person
circle
we
is
talk
complete,
to,
man. The
every
circle
single
of life.
person is his guy. First it was Jeff, now it's Paul. The first time I met you, I was a freshman at Maryland. You were a senior, and I was your guy.
Absolutely,
You said it
man.
back then too.
See, the beat guys, man. We reunited.
We're just the beat guys.
Remember when I gave you the CD, Walt? Your old CD, your rap CD.
Oh, did you bring it?
Oh,
dude, we
I
got
gave
some.
it to him. No, I gave
You
it to him.
gave it to me.
You don't have to
keep
play
that. I gave it to you. Do you still have
Keep
it?
the file?
I do have that.
Oh,
That's
I-
the only one I have.
Oh,
Do you
so
still
good.
have it?
I do.
See, you're indebted to us
you
forever.
guys, and you guys, if you don't have it on file, I'm never bringing it in.
Oh, Larry. Walt is the only rapper ever to mention only,
rep
only
only.
Maryland.
Reppin' only.
Rep
man.
only is right. You gotta respect that.
Can you do it for us right now, Walt?
Yeah, let's do some live shit. Let's drop the beats.
Absolutely not,
there's no way.
man.
Come on.
Absolutely not, man.
right, fair
PG County, DMV, we are the best.
There you go.
Fair.
And this is
Can't
the
argue
best
that.
part about having Walt on the show. We have yet to talk about sports. You've been on for 10 minutes. We haven't even talked about the team yet.
Doesn't even matter.
Don't even care.
Tell us more about your rap career, Walt. We just had Citizen Cup over here. You
Tell
guys
us-
can
Hey,
commiserate.
you know what, man? I always have a great time talking with you guys.
We
man.
have
That's
fun with
good.
you,
That's
man.
why we're here.
You know what? The beat guys stand out to me more than anybody I interview with.
All right,
you know?
hey, give me a magic marker. We're crossing this shit out. We're just gonna be the beat guys from now on. Walt look, if the wizard calls you the beat guys, you're the beat guys then.
Hey,
Let's talk
plug it,
hoops.
plug
Let's talk
it.
hoops.
Let's talk hoops. Let's talk hoops.
Before that, who's winning today? What do you following the football team?
You know what? I think Coach Loxley has been doing a great job recruiting. That's the key. You need top-notch players in this league at this level. You're playing, especially you're playing against a team like West Virginia. They're traditionally a talented team. So I think that we're going to do well today. I think that we're going to get the victory, start this season off right, and and then it's going to be a domino effect. We get that momentum, and we get to a bowl this year.
Can I ask you, what was it like? What was the relationship like between the basketball program and the football program when you were here? Because that was a really weird time, just for lots of reasons. I think Bobby Ross had left at that point, right? So it was kind of in a transition, and all this crazy stuff was going on with the basketball program. Did you guys work together? Did you go to football games? Did you work with the recruits? All that stuff?
Oh, we didn't work with the recruits per se, but if we happen to come across, then yeah. But man, we were close knit, of course. Close knit, of course. So when we would take those guys out, the football team was definitely, if they were around, we all definitely had a good time. We definitely supported one another. I would see the football players at our games all the time, and vice versa. And so yeah, man. Even in the off season, playing pickup games out in front of South Hill, they used to have the basketball courts out there back then. And so many of times out there playing against OG, Big Ben, a whole host of football players for sure.
Did y'all play at Prinkert at all? Did y'all do the pickup games over there?
A little
South
bit,
campus?
but most of the time we played outside. The South Hill campus was, it was a lot of competition out there, man.
Because I was embarrassing myself at Prinkert for a long time. My claim to fame is seeing Juan Dixon at the cheesesteak joint at 2 in the morning and be like, Juan, what's up? He's like, you fucking...
That's one of the worst claim to fames I've ever.
You're welcome.
Well, that's better than yours getting dunked on by Steve Francis.
The ball rimmed out. It did not go in. It
Well,
bounced
my other,
Hey,
to
real quick,
be
guys.
fair, my other claim to fame is swatting Keith Bogans at DeMatha, and then him spending the
man.
next hour coming at me and killing
There
me.
you go.
fake
That's how it
news.
happens.
I still got my knees are still broke
fake
from the
news,
rest
right?
of
That's
that.
clearly fake.
Eric Ayala just showed up. He's on a tight schedule, so I'm going to end with one more thing with you, Walt, before we bring up Eric. Do you remember the time You single-handedly beat North Carolina. You scored like 80 points. Do you remember that? I
thought
was
it
at
was-
the game.
I thought it was 85.
85?
He probably remembers that.
You remember that?
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you something about that day.
Okay.
I was sick.
You were sick.
I was sick.
Oh, this is the Walt Williams flu game then.
It
Right?
was. It was the flu game, man. And if you remember, when you walked across campus, it was the Turtle across the campus, right up against. I can't remember what the building was up against. And I used to always walk past that.
The admin
and I
building,
would rub that Turtle, man. And right after I rubbed it, a bird pooped right on my head. And at the time, it was just disgusting. But later on, I found out that was good luck. So. And then
So you need to get a bird poop on your head every
There you
time.
go. And I walked into the gym and I performed that way that night. And so there you have it.
Never washed the
Very
bird poop
good.
out yet.
Well,
There
it's
you
one
go,
of the
the
one
bird
of,
poop game.
one of the greatest performances. One of the greatest performances in the history of Maryland basketball. Walt, thank you for joining us.
Yes, man.
Thank you for coming over. I know you had another commitment. You went out of your way to come here. Have some pizza, have some beer, have some scotch, whatever you want. It's on us. Thank you very much.
man.
We're gonna get Eric Ayala up here
Eric
in 1
Ayala,
minute.
man.
Thank you, Walt.
You guys keep
Walt Williams,
upgrading.
everybody.
Keep upgrading.
Hey, you gonna get pictures?
Get right here.
Yeah, I got a picture.
Get a quick little snappy snap. We're all vaccinated. We're good.
Cool, thanks, man.
Good. Thanks, brother.
Hey, man, good to see you guys again,
Yeah,
man.
man, absolutely.
Always good times.
Next time, remember who we are. You forget
Absolutely,
us.
man.
We're the beef guys. We're the beef guys.
Somebody has to say that. You see immediately when you say that, I'm like, oh, my guys.
IMS Radio.
All right,
Yeah, we'll get you again before the season starts.
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
All right.
Y'all my guys. Eric, you ready?
Hey, Larry announced that they can take a pizza. We need to get rid of like a lot of these.
Jeff,
I
when
was
was Jeff?
promised $1 by listening all over the podcast.
Jeff, you're gonna move the pizza on the sidewalk so like everybody walking by will grab it.
Ooh,
I
that
think it'll do
Cowboys
better over
jersey
there.
going cause some ruckus.
yeah.
Gonna cause some ruckus.
We already got comments about it. We already got comments about it.
That's all right. That's
Nobody pay attention to the jersey.
Yeah, leave the jersey. Family thing. My family love the Cowboys. And,
We welcome to IMS Radio. Maryland Terrapins. What are you, a shooting guard? What would we
He's
call
whatever you
you?
need me to be.
Is that he is
Whatever you need me to
a
be.
combo guard, shooting guard,
Yep.
leading scorer, team leader,
Yep.
future pro, Eric Ayala. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good, man.
Except for that jersey.
Except for the
Yeah.
Except for that jersey, man. I'm
Trolling us, man.
My family, I grew up, my family, big time Cowboys fan. I didn't even really watch football like that. I just started. And, I'm just going with the family trend. You know?
All right, well, you're sticking
We
with
will
your
accept
family.
that. We will accept that excuse
Yeah,
for the moment.
Thank you.
Hey, two of your longtime running mates
Yep.
left you this year. Three
Yeah.
3 years you've been with Wiggins and Morcell. You got some guys, quality players
Yep.
coming in to replace them. But how do you think that transition is going to be? Is this your team now? Those guys are gone. 8 or 9 new faces. Is this your team now?
My main goal is winning at the end of the day. It's my senior year. I've been to the round of 32. Both my times in the tournament, and my main goal is getting to that Sweet 16. I'm locked in on that.
Or
that's something
farther.
I really want to do. Yeah, for sure. And we got a lot of new guys. We got a lot of talented guys. I think everybody fit in well. And we got Coach Terry's leading the way. That's a big deal.
Tell us about the two most highlighted transfers, Fats and Caduce. What have you seen from those guys so far?
Q has been tremendous just because, obviously we didn't have that post presence that we had, my previous years, last year. And just him being able to step in that role and just, be that presence down there for us. And Fats is dynamic, I grew up playing with Fats, me and him are familiar with each other's game. And the relationship already there, we bond, we click right away. And, same thing with Q, it's crazy because everybody's coming in and it's just natural. It's nothing hard to do, with our chemistry and stuff. So they've been great, just being able to come in, and I think we're going to be special this year.
We heard from a very good source that the big kid Pablo is a quote beast.
Yeah,
The best
I ain't
source.
gonna lie, he one of the
best source,
strongest
the
guys.
The best source possible.
He one of the strongest guys, man. I done seen him in the weight room. And it's easy for him. He be laughing, lifting the
Natural.
craziest amounts, and I love his character, more than anything. He's always got a smile on his face, and he just brings a positive energy, to whatever we're doing.
So Eric, we got some intel got some intelligence that there was some pickup basketball being played today.
Yes, it was.
What's the scoop on some guys that maybe we should look out for? Maybe people aren't really on the top of people's minds.
I think Ike Cornish, you know, he's going to be one. You know, once his game developed, you know, he got potential. I like his potential a lot. You know, from his first day, you know, till now, you know, he's grown so much. Marcus Dockery played well today. You know, him just growing up. Honestly, our whole guy, everybody, you know, Hakeem Hart, he's gotten a lot stronger. You know, just being more comfortable out there. He played some big minutes for us last year. You know, Ian Martinez, you know, he plays hard. You know, he's one of the hardest playing people I've ever seen in my life.
And he's healthy now, right?
Yeah, but we working him back into it. You know, taking it one day at a time. He didn't play today, but just want to make sure he's ready. You know, when practice time comes and season time comes, and you know, everybody. You know, our whole staff has been amazing. All the players, everybody been contributing.
And now you've been here. You know, you're a senior citizen in terms of College Park, right?
Yeah.
You've been here a long time. So like, what have things been like in terms of change? In terms of like the ability the coaches can work with you during the summer now, like you know
and
the
staff
ability.
change.
Yeah, I mean, and the staff's changed. Like, what's it been different between like your freshman year when you first got here versus now? I mean, hell, we almost got you when you were a junior in high school.
I mean, you just learn to adapt. You know, even at the next level, you know, in the pros, you know, you got to adapt. You know, you got different coaching changes, different, you know, teammates often. And, you know, I always tell people it felt like an NBA offseason this year, you know, just with all the changes, the coaching staff, the players. And, you know, I think everybody's main goal is winning, you know, with our team. And, you know, people come here to win. They know we got a winning program here in Maryland. You know, we've done some great things. And, you know, guys like Walt, you know, setting the foundation for us. And, you know, just want to keep that thing going. You know, Coach brings in people that he trusts that, you know, be positive to the team. And, I mean, it's been amazing, you know, just being able to meet new people and just adjust. You know, that's my biggest thing is you got to adapt and adjust. You know, you have different circumstances every year, and you know, you just make the best out of them.
So now you're a big guard, right? You got every. You can play 1 through 4, right? You can post. You can play point. You can play off the ball.
Yep.
What do you feel about your role this year? Because you got Fats, who's more of a pure point guard. Whereas you can play pretty much anywhere. What do you feel like you'd most be utilized as?
Definitely that 2-guard role this year. You know, I'm comfortable playing.
Because Aaron's gone, right? So you got that hole there.
Definitely, and you know, I'm definitely comfortable playing that. You know, my whole summer workouts, you know, I've been training, you know, for that role. And you know, Fats is somebody I trust 1,000%. You know, 1,000%. I know he gonna.
And how did you know each other beforehand? You play in Delaware?
I mean, he's from Philly. I'm from Delaware. You know, I go up there and play. He comes down to Delaware and play. You know, all seasons. You know, we play pickup down there. They come down and play pickup in Delaware. And you know, our AA teams, we always collide. And I mean, he's just been a close friend. You know, you meet a lot of people through basketball. You build a lot of relationships. He's one of the relationships I'm just able to build through basketball.
One of the other things that changed is the name, image, likeness.
Oh yeah.
That's new, and you're involved with that with Jeff, with the what's called Campus Mogul.
Yes, sir. That's
right.
Yeah. So tell everybody about that, Jeff and Eric. What are you guys doing with Campus Mogul, and how's that going to work? Everybody come up, buy a shirt.
Come buy one of Eric's shirts. You know, these guys work so hard. They can finally benefit from their hard work. So Eric has joined along with a lot of other Maryland athletes, Dante Scott, Rakim Jarrett. And so if you come over here, buy the pizza, his shirt is on display. We got a QR code. Grab a couple of his jerseys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Support your players. Yep.
Yes,
and Eric, can I ask you what it feels like as a player who now you live, you know, you were here before the NLI decision. Now you're here afterwards. Like, how do you feel about this balance between retaining that college amateurism, but also being able to feel like you're being compensated properly?
I mean, the first day, you know, was crazy. Like, I was on the phone all day, and at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I can't be doing this all day, every day. You know, I got to be able to find that balance, like you said, you know, where you keeping the main thing. You know, we're here to play basketball.
Because you got to go to, like, biology class, and you're also trying to figure out whether you're going to represent this car dealership.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you balance that?
I mean, just taking the most out of your time. You know, obviously keeping the main thing is basketball, school basketball. And, you know, in your free time, you know, you make sure you handle whatever you got to handle. But it's definitely a business. You know, one thing I would recommend to a lot of student athletes, you know, coming into college is to be able to take a business course. You know, it should be required now with NIL, you know, dealing with contracts and, you know, negotiating and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's important to have people represent you, have people to help you out with that, but you should, as an athlete, be able to understand what's going on as well.
Does the basketball program provide you some resources
Absolutely.
in terms of like being able to deal with the business aspect of things?
Absolutely. They're there for us, every step of the way as much as they can be.
Right.
They
I know
can
those
do it.
rules are
Yeah,
weird.
there's a lot of rules and stuff like that, but, they're always there helping us out. Any new information they get, they lend it over and, making sure that, we well caught up with everything that's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
You tested the NBA waters this
Yeah.
past year. You went through the process.
Yeah.
You ultimately decided to come back to Maryland. What did you learn during the process? Why did you decide to come back?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me was just taking care of my body to have a longer career playing basketball. I came back from that experience and, guys, you're not going to be able to play basketball forever, but you want to play as long as you can.
Right.
And, that was the biggest thing I learned was, making sure I'm doing the necessary things to, protect myself and, take care of myself. And, basketball, I do school, but I love basketball. Basketball is my passion. And, that was kind of the biggest thing I learned. And obviously, dealing with, agents and now with NIL, like I said, the business aspect of everything, you gotta know what's going on. You can't let nothing go over your head. And that's kind of the biggest thing I learned. But coming back to Maryland, I mean, this right here, just seeing all these people out here, about to go to a football game. I mean, I feel like you can't beat it. You can't beat it. And I feel like, for me, definitely being able to develop at school is important for me as well, where guys go to the NBA and, they kind of rush in and then, you got to develop and compete at the same time, because guys are always coming in.
You know anybody who rushed into the NBA last year? Any friends?
My guy, he's been showing up. Aaron's been, he's been showing improvement.
Nah, he's good.
Yeah, good summer league.
Yeah, I think he's surprising a lot of people, with his playing. He always could do it. It's just a matter of, just being comfortable. I think the last year, not having no fans and, just, the way our team was set up, I think he had the year he wanted to, he probably could have went, first round.
Right.
Yeah.
He got that kind of talent.
Yeah.
And, he's somebody I grew up playing with, and it was just a blessing to see his name called. And, we got some more Terps coming.
And hopefully that's going to be you next year.
Yeah, we got some more Terps coming, man. We definitely got some more Terps.
So the one thing that jumps out at me when I watch your game is the toughness. I've said this a million times, but when you get into the paint, you kind of morph into a power forward with those moves.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? How did you develop that?
So when I was in high school, believe it or not, I had to play power forward and center.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was taller than everybody, and even younger. Like when I was younger, I had to play power forward, and then I think I got to middle school, and one of my coaches was like, "If you want to play college ball, you want to go to the NBA, you got to turn into a guard." And I was used to playing like, low post, like wingish, and then he kind of transitioned me to a point guard. So I was like, that whole middle school era, I would just playing point guard, tell me how ball screens, and I got that physicality down there because I was used to playing with guys either bigger than me or my size at that time. So, mind you, I'm not that big to be playing center and power forward, but just playing down there with bigger guys, it make me feel comfortable. And I feel like I'm strong, so I take that personally.
Yeah, we can see you want the contact. That's apparent.
Definitely. I definitely embrace that. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's like a macho thing. I feel like I'm bigger and stronger than a lot of guys down there. So,
well, we were talking to a certain source earlier about possibly maybe posting you up a little bit, and the way that a certain source may have posted up Des Wells back in the day.
Okay.
Because
I'm no easy guy to post up now. So whoever saying,
I mean, I'm just dropping that idea in a certain source's head. So if it works out this year, you can thank me.
Absolutely.
You can just give me a call and just be like, give me a dap.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely
because he wouldn't have been able to do that without you.
No, I mean, obviously it was my idea.
Yeah, clearly you
the whole time.
You get the credit.
I might take Ayala, put him into post.
I ain't having that, my guy. I can't go like that. Nah,
I'm still bitter because I wanted you the year before you got here.
Because
I know that was close.
We covered that.
I still feel like as a backup point that year, boy, we could have used.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be sitting here right now.
He wouldn't be here right now, though. That's the difference.
Definitely. I think Coach Turris for that too, because he knew how bad I wanted to come.
Yeah.
And, I was on him every day. Like, Coach, I'm trying to come. And he just, I don't think they was having the year they wanted to have that year. He was like, I don't think you should waste it. I think you come in next year, we'll have a better team and just, take advantage of your full year.
So you recruited him, basically.
I mean, he been recruiting me since I was my freshman year in high school, so like our relationship, we had built it, and, the opportunity presented itself, and I was like, Coach, I want to come. And, he just was taking it one day at a time. He was like, And I think they went on like a small losing streak, and it was like, all right, don't even bother.
That's smart.
Right now. Yeah, so it was definitely, I thank him a lot for that.
I imagine it builds a lot of trust when you're able to go back and forth with your future head coach saying, like, look, if you don't want me because it makes more sense for next year, okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, as opposed to what would be kind of the more selfish decision saying, come this year, help me now, whether you're ready or not, or whether I can eat you or not.
And it was schools that, you know, presented that. You know, that year I was able to go 2017 and 2018.
Right.
And, you know, it was some schools that were, you know, I could have won it. I wanted to go 2018, but they wanted me to come in 2017. And I felt like I needed that year to develop more and just, you know, be more experienced and be ready when I came into college. And it helped out a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Eric, when we have people on the show, we play fill in the blank. I'm going to ask you 5 rapid-fire questions. Say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
The leader of this year's Maryland men's basketball team is?
Mark Turgeon.
That's a company man. I like that. Well
The
done.
player who will surprise everyone the most from this year's team will be?
Julian Reese.
I saw on Twitter you posted a WWE video, so if you became a WWE superstar, your wrestling name would be?
I don't know. I gotta think of a creative one.
You
'cause I don't
got
want a lot
to
of
work
people
on that
to-
one.
Yeah, I gotta work
But you
on
got to
that.
get back to us, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to y'all on that. I'm gonna get back
Okay.
to y'all on that.
If you weren't going into a professional career in basketball, the other career you would choose would be?
I like business, but I think I'm a comedian. You know, I ain't gonna say I could do stand up, but
All right,
you probably see me in
Chappelle.
some movies.
All right,
you would see me in
Chappelle.
some movies. I'm a pretty funny guy if you get to know me, man.
All right.
Yeah.
The team
That just means we got to get you back on the show and we need a routine.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. The team that will win the Big Ten in basketball this season will be?
The University of Maryland.
Yeah,
Let's
baby.
do it. Let's do it.
Hey,
Yes,
Eric,
sir.
we asked one more thing. If everybody comes on the show, could you do us a favor and say,
Absolutely.
this is Eric Ayala, and you're listening to IMS Radio.
This is Eric Ayala, and you are listening to IMS Radio.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you, guys.
Thanks, sir. Hey, get back to us later.
I need that name, man.
You got to work on that. That's my stuff.
I'll hit you up. Nice job. Appreciate it. Thanks, Keith.
All right. How about that chock full show?
Call it a day.
Full show. We had 4 guests: Citizen Cope, Chris Knoche, Walt Williams, and Eric Ayala. That's a pretty good show.
That's not bad.
Two new bumpers:
That's not bad.
Citizen Cope and Eric
A couple
Ayala,
of former draft picks, you know, like good stuff.
and one future one.
One future one.
One future one. We've got
Multi-platinum
something's
records.
going on here. Not sure. Okay. So there's this little football game today.
There is a little football game.
Let's talk about that for a few minutes. Let's get some predictions on the game. Paul, what you got?
Larry, I'm waiting
Yeah.
for somebody to get tackled by Shawne Merriman. Where is he?
He canceled. Sean canceled.
I was waiting for somebody to get tackled over there.
The agent is texting right now.
We may have a late night.
We might have a late show.
Sean will be here in 2 minutes.
Sean Merriman's going to be here in 2 minutes. There you go.
It's not me being tackled.
We're going to tell him you said that, by the way.
All right, so let's talk football, right?
Real quick, we got 2 minutes to discuss the game.
We're here for a football game.
Give your prediction for the game right now. Go.
Oh man, that's just right on the spot. Here's the thing. I feel like this might be Maryland's best team in quite a while. The talent is there. I feel like the defense, we've talked about this before, the defense is extremely underrated. The talent level is higher than it's been in a long time. I feel like the secondary might be the best secondary Maryland's had in pretty much as long as I can remember. You talk about you've got guys like Ruben Hippolyte, you've got Gote at middle linebacker. You lose Chance Campbell, not great, but you got 2 guys ready to step right into the middle and take over. I feel like the defensive line, if Nachami stays healthy, Lautez Rogers stays healthy, you've got a good pass rush, and that's even before you get to the freshmen. Damian Chop Robinson, unbelievable talent, one of the best probably recruits we've ever seen here. I feel like the defense could be something completely different.
Could be
that's
good.
That's the thing that makes me different. We've always talked about how the Maryland offense has got wide receivers. It's got skilled players. This year, you've got Talia Tagovailoa, who can play quarterback, He's got the athletic ability to get out of the pocket if things go wrong, but it's really the defense for me that makes the difference. That's what makes me feel like this team could be different. That's what makes me feel like this team is going to win 34-10.
34-10. Jeff, what you got?
I got Maryland 35, West Virginia 31. I think it's a 50-50 game.
That's cheap.
Go.
Everybody's calling it.
There-
Everybody's
there
calling
he
it.
is.
I haven't read it with everybody else.
Shawne Merriman just showed up, everybody.
There he is.
Here comes Shawne Merriman.
Look
Give it
at
up,
my
Shawne.
guy.
I'm calling a 2-touchdown victory, too, as well, for the record, Maryland. Here we go. We welcome to the show Shawne Merriman.
Hey, we got all the legends of this show. We got Walt Williams, we got Eric Ayala, we got Shawne Merriman in the house.
One of, if not the greatest linebackers in the history of Maryland football.
The lights are on, my friends.
The lights are on. Shawne, tell us about Lights Out, where everybody can get your brand. We want you to be able to promote it while you're on the show with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, check us out at Lights Out XF, my MMA company, Lights Out Extreme Fighting, now on Fubo Sports, but hopefully we're looking for a fight today, right?
Yeah.
Well, we got to go right to it. What do you feel about this game? Where do you feel like Maryland is right now?
It's going to be a dogfight. I got an opportunity to sit in the team meetings room the other day and listen to Mike Loxley, and I think they're expecting nothing less than a full-quarter dogfight. They're not taking these guys lightly, and just by in the past playing these guys and coming on the campus and seeing their fans and how they travel, I mean, they're rowdy, and they really get behind them. So if they kind of punch them in the mouth early, that's what they got to do. Punch them in the mouth early, set the tone, and take the fans out of it early on.
Speaking of coming on the campus, what's it like for you? Like the love you got? I think I would just come back for every game if I was a guy like you, just to feel all the love from everybody who remembers everything you did.
It's crazy. I was coming up on the campus and I seen people across the street doing the Lights Out dance, and I thought that was pretty cool. So it's always home. I grew up 20 minutes from the campus. And I'm still very involved with it. Obviously, Mike Loxley is the one who recruited me and got me to the University of Maryland in the first place. So just to be around these guys, be around the new building that I saw. I got a chance to see the full building yesterday for the first time, and it was incredible.
Slightly different than what you had to work with.
It's a little different than back in the day, right?
Yeah, they actually got a locker room. I don't know what we had back in the day, but it's nice. I think they, it's going to be great for recruiting. If I'm a kid coming out of high school and I'm looking at that locker room and I'm seeing all the fields and the just everything they got going on, the screens. I mean, I walked in the weight room and they have some kind of thing where you can some camera up top to watch you work out. I mean, it's like next level. So it's going to be great, man. I think they
do much better. Citizen Cope, Chris Knoche, Eric Ayala, Walt Williams, Shawne Merriman, and now we get to break everything down and then go watch Maryland beat West Virginia.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
We're looking forward to a good season on IMS Radio. A good football season, a good bowl season, the basketball team making a deep run in the tournament. We'll be back every week, starting next week, I think, right? Because we're back in season.
We're back. Sunday nights will be live on YouTube.
And Paul Sucks.
Thank you, sir. Bless you.
We'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you. Go Terps.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you guys. Woo! Woo!
It worked for most